Welcome to Creatively Exposed, a podcast and safe space for Black and marginalized creatives to empower, educate, and uplift you through the final product of self and creation. Bring a homie, share with a homie, and enjoy the show. Welcome to Creatively Exposed, and today we have a dope interview with a TV writer who has gone through caretaking. Her life basically took a very unexpected turn, and she's now kind of building back together and growing through some things. And I just think it's such a great episode. There's some tips and tricks for those who are interested in TV writing. It might even apply to film, so definitely check the episode out and hope you enjoy. So, I guess let's jump right in. I did check out both videos. I binged it like all last night and really enjoyed it. And
Thank you.
Curious, what made you do the video for basically living with my mom and being over 30?
So the thing that even made me do that one is I need to put my story out. I think that I have a story that's not like people. And sometimes I feel like I'm stuck in the same spot and I can't move. But sometimes I just need to remind myself, like, no, girl, you've gone through a lot and you may not be where it is that you want to be, but you've made a lot of stuff happen for other people. And so like it's like it's sort of me validating myself when I get down out where I am. And something that I know a lot of people really aren't paying attention to, but dementia is going to be another pandemic. People aren't paying attention to it, but the numbers of seniors and younger people who are starting to show signs of it isn't increasing at a very rapid rate. And so I think putting the information about that out there is also really important, because right now it's about like 1 in every 4 people is caring for someone who has it. Wow. Which is a really high number that we're just not talking about.
Wow, that's major.
Yeah.
So just to kind of dial it back, for the people who don't know who you are, let me know, a little bit about yourself, the things that you love to do, the things you love to create, and then I guess we'll go into everything that has led you to being here right now.
My name is Jacquelyn Revere. I always tell people that I have a stutter, and so you may hear it a bit. I am from Los Angeles, California. I was born and raised in the city. I ended up going to like these like super white like bougie schools, and so as soon as I was like, I'm going to college, I was like, take me across the country. So I ended up going to Hampton. Love my historically.
Yes.
Yeah, all about it. HBCU all day. And then after that, I ended up moving to New York, where I worked in film and television for about 7 years. And
Mm-hmm.
then one day while I was on the subway, I ended up getting a phone call, and that phone call basically told me that your mother and your grandmother are sick. You need to fly home. And so from that moment on, I ended up flying home. What we later found out is that the furnace that was in our house over time leaked carbon monoxide, which ended up poisoning my mother and my grandmother. It gave them both dementia.
Mm-hmm.
And since I'm an only child, I was the only one basically who could take care of them. And yeah, it was good. It's super crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So now I've been home for about excuse me, let me slow down. So I've been home now for about 4 years. It'll be 4 in May, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And since I'm not working on the corporate side of the TV and film industry anymore, now I'm basically working on the artistic side of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I am a writer, and I ended up switching to writing so that, because it's something that I can do from home. It's
Mm-hmm.
something that I can continue, taking care of my family and also not, leave that side of me. And
Yeah.
so that is how we are here right now.
And how different is it for you to be basically on the artistic side versus the corporate side of creating?
So I'd always wanted to be on the artistic side. I just knew that financial security was way more on and so I chose what was, fiscally smart, but having money is nice, and not having money is not nice. So you just have to figure it out. Luckily, since me moving home, my grandmother has since passed, and so now I'm only taking care of my mom. But what's really great is that the state pays family members to take care of seniors because they don't want to overburden the system.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's amazing.
And so that's pretty much like where we are now.
Okay. And so tell me about Crescendo.
Yes, absolutely. So Crescendo is a web series that I ended up writing because a artistic friend and partner said, "Hey, I really want to do something that showcased her and the fact that she sang."
Mm-hmm.
And so when most people want you to write something, they don't know what really goes into writing an entire story. So
yeah,
in order to make a story compelling, you don't just show off talents or so on. You need a story that hooks in people. You need a topic that people care about, so on. And so what I did was I sort of took some time to figure out what are topics that plague women in the industry, and what are some of the hardships that they go through. What's actually really interesting is I started writing it, and then soon after that, the R. Kelly documentary documentary ended up coming out. And so once that sort of popped up, I knew that socially I was on the right path with a story that is congruent with what's going on. And that's pretty much like how it all ended up happening.
Nice. It's a really interesting story, and that's something I'm definitely putting in the show notes. And so are the characters all of like friends and people that you know that were put together to get it done?
No, so we put out a casting call out here in the city.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we had a lot of people show up, and we had a lot of really great, talented people show up. What I knew was that I wanted to surround my lead with really, really strong actors. So the character that played opposite Leah, he's probably the only person who I knew. And what happened was the original lead that we had, something happened, and so he ended up dropping out 1 week before we started filming. And we were like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? Right. And so I had reached out to him because I personally knew that he was a fantastic actor. He's a theater person, and I always love pulling people who studied their craft, especially from the stage. And literally he had 1 week, he learned everything, and he came in and he killed his scenes. He was so fantastic in it.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Yep, he had me convinced.
Man, you could tell that his heart was broken. I was like, oh man, this is hard to watch.
Yeah, that is so good. So for those who haven't seen Crescendo, I guess what is just a little idea of maybe the hook to get them in there?
Yeah, so Crescendo centers on the story of Leah Stevenson, and she is a retired singer who is experiencing restless nights haunted by a physical assault from 10 years earlier that had ended up shaming her out of the music industry. So we're basically following her while she's making the choice to take the leap to follow her dream that had essentially been pushed to the side. Right. And so we're seeing all of the changes that she has to make, all of the people that she has to, basically cut out of her life in order to make her dreams come true.
Okay. And you did state you went to an HBCU, so did you study film?
I studied marketing, and I also studied screenwriting. So the thing with marketing is I was like, I know I need some sort of major that makes it look like I went to school for something.
Right.
And then the screenwriting ended up happening because I took it as an elective, and that course went really well, and I realized how much I actually enjoyed bringing characters to life, and I continued working with that. And there's also something about being a person who has a speech impediment, and especially back then my stutter was really severe. And so there's something about taking the words that are in your head, putting them on paper, and then making other people say it that I really get a lot of satisfaction from. And so that's